Good evening, boys. Happy Friday, and hope you're all doing well. Welcome to the penultimatum of season 2 of the CMO 102 All-Stars. I've got a decent slate of fixtures for you tonight, and if you just spy it in the banner at the top, I've stuck a little bit of a running order. Excuse me. Which I've also put in the chat for the managers as well. So we are going to start tonight with Newcastle versus Aborigines. But just before we do, we'll just have a little bit of a look at the league table. So Dragons on 47 points, followed by Blitz on 43, Vanuatu and Warriors on 41, and Vikings on 40, Unicorns on 39. And then the kind of chasing pack that unfortunately haven't been able to kind of keep pace. I was having a good conversation with Tato pre-stream just earlier on this afternoon, and he kind of made the point that he feels that 4 or 5 out of these 6 have just went on kind of mental runs, really, that other people haven't been able to kind of keep pace with. And comes back to the kind of point that I've always said, which is once the game kind of has that bit of momentum behind it, it's really, really hard to stop. So permutations tonight, there aren't really that many. The main one is that if Dragons got a point against the Blitz, the big guaranteed top spot. But other than that, everything is absolutely all to play for. There's 4 points between 6th and 2nd, and then 3 points between 12th and 9th. And then 3 points between 9th and 7th. So a lot undecided, but I suspect we'll have a much clearer picture of where we're at come the end of the night, going into the final stream on Sunday with the Dazzler. So we are going to start with Newcastle versus, where is he at? Newcastle versus Aborigines. Rocks, great to have you in the chat, mate. I didn't clock a kind of formal submission from you, so if you can just have a look and just let us know you're happy. Boya was suspended, so I brought Smuck in into that lone DMC central with the long arrow. If you can let me know if you're happy with that, that'd be grand. And then whilst we're waiting for you to confirm that, bud, we'll go over to the Aborigines, who go like this. Ambrosini coming back into that DMC, push forward into the MC with no arrow, and Tomad is done pretty well, I think, for an untried striker for Daz, and we'll see if he can do this tonight. Click continue on the Aborigines, and we'll click continue on the Nuka boys. Why can't I see them? Because I'm on them. There we go. Little bit of a kick clash, you would imagine, but we'll kick off the first game of the evening, and there he is. There he is. I did try to tell Daz months ago, actually, well, weeks ago, to get Tomadira played and just let him be there. And it is 2-0. Rocky Santa Cruz puts them 2-0 up, and credit to Daz, because this has been a much improved season this season. He's taken a lot of kind of hits on the chin from people around his deals and around his tactics and formations, but he is getting there eventually, and far more competitive than he has been throughout the entire duration of both leagues under the Assault banner. Over to Nuka, you suspect Rocks just probably wants to let them die and let them rot. I can't see him doing too much of that, and it's a roll from Daz. Yeah, I suspected it would be a roll from both, so we will continue. No point dilly-dallying around. And there is Smuck, who goes off on a red card. Bit of a damp squig of his season. He's been pretty decent for Rocks over the last couple of seasons. I imagine that Rocks will just let the formation be. Daz, if you can just give us a quick nudge that you're happy for everything to be as it is, mate, and that'll be grand. It's an as is from Daz in terms of the red card. And Rocks has maybe turned it off at half time there and said kind of play it out. So we'll go to 60 in the absence of anything. We get a 60. We will go to Newcastle, but we'll not waste too much time because I think Rocks might have jibbed it after he went 2-0 down. Over at the Aborigines, we'll give Daz a full look of his stats. Let's just have a little look what that would do in terms of league table positions. So it would put him within touching distance of finishing above Tato, something which he definitely wants to do. And we'll see if he can do that come game week 26. And it does that, can just let us know. Evening, Steve. Steve, what beers are you on the night, mate? You didn't fucking get amongst it and didn't know what beers you're on. I think I always struggle with Staropramen, and I think you would struggle with pronouncing it, Steve. Send us a little voice note where you're trying to pronounce that beer that I'm on. Aborigines, Santa Cruz to Guare, and Ambro back into DMC with an arrow. Thank you very much, does that? And we'll roll this one through to the end. And Yavan gets his team back into it, but has been disallowed. It's 3-0 to Madeira again. Proving to Daz that he is good enough to be starting. And that is full time. It's a really comprehensive win from the Aborigines, and Rocks will want to burn this season down and never see hide nor hair of it again. Petkov on a 4 and Cuenca on a 5 as his keeper. Man of the match performance for Tomadira does as a voice note comes through from Steve Wright. Can we play this on stream? Let's see if we can play this.
Staropramen.
Staropramen. Yeah, okay. Maybe a better pronunciation than I did. Well done, Daz, and unlucky to Roxy. Okay, so second game of the night is going to be Townsville versus Tutuvua. So the game save lands us just nicely. This is how Evening Robert, how we doing, boy? Lands us just on the Tutuvua boys, who I believe are kind of looking at this and trying to review this for next season, which is exactly the right thing to do. They had such an incredible season last season. Credit to them. It was always going to be really hard to follow that up. And this is how the Thunder go tonight. And Hodgie's kind of message was save tactic file for the cunts, just move them around. That kind of shows you again, he's another manager that really isn't happy with his season this season. Best of luck to both managers. OB is in the house. And I'm kind of speaking for OB here, but I would, if anybody wants Campbell or Saeed, I would be getting those offers into the chat ASAP. Contra just grown into it there. He had a lot of text within the first couple of minutes. Taibbi couldn't hold on to it, but it is cleared away. Mendes de la Silva, who had a shocker last time out, but actually seemed to be making some big defensive clearances there. Over at the match stats, Taibbi again, pretty good. Montero, how's Montero been this season, actually? Yeah, not great. He is a Marmite defender, him. You either absolutely love him or kind of don't really like him. He's always a bit of a red card liability whenever I've had him. Over to the Tutuvua boys, talking about red card liabilities. You've got 3 players on a yellow card. Hodgie is a roll straight off the bat, and we'll see what OB wants to do there. Again, text felt a little bit short for a 45er, but we'll see how the boys get on. Roll from Hodgie, so it's just an OB shout. It's a roll at 60 from them both. Appreciate that, lads. And Morientes gets it over the ball. We get a 60. And again, I think that was another save from the Tutuvua keeper. 6s for the forward players from Hodgie, which is just a little bit of the story of the season. For them, Morientes has been very good, but other than Romadal, you'd probably say there's been not enough contributions from the rest. Romadal on 76%, so we'll see what Hodgie wants to do there. Over to Tutuvua. 8 again for Costanzo. Campbell is on a 6. Serginho on an 8, which they'll like to see, given that they've just brought him in recently. I'm not sure what this does to the league table. So 7th is still up for grabs for both managers. And Townsville are going to give Perez a run for Romadal. And Alex for Killy Gonzalez. Over to Tavua, Desai for Decor. Over Mars for Holland. And 2 AMCs like that, OB. Like that. Desai for Decor. Over Mars for Holland. Or I'm guessing like that. Or like that. I'll just cancel that off, mate, so you can just specify there, because I've moved a hell of a lot of players around for you there. Desai for Decor. Over Mars for Holland. just as I moved them back, he says that one. That one. That one, mate. Yeah. You could obviously have the Arizona Diag as well if you wanted them. Just give it a couple of seconds. Yeah, perfect. Lovely. Appreciate it, mate. And we'll see how the players that both of them, and there is Morientes, who has been incredible this season. Definitely something for Townsville to pin their hopes on for last season. He's very much a Hodgie player. Was massive for him at Lettersford, I believe. Certainly remember being him up there with the likes of Siggs when he was at Lettersford. Ready with a half chance from a corner, cleared away. Dielson had a dip trying to get the 2-2 boys back into it. Viduka looked certain to score. Oh, and he did, but it was disallowed. Oh, but Montero, I said he was a bit of a Marmite defender. I've done a stay right there. I've mentioned a player, and he's been involved, which just kind of gives you the yips about this fucking game being sentient, doesn't it? Morientes with the goal, Imar with an assist. Morientes is going to finish probably on 14-15. Over to Tutuvua. Most draws in a season. That is a really, really good point. I had a load. I think I had 11 last season, OB. So I think you've just pipped that. Scott, you'll be able to tell you, because Dragons had a load of draws last season. Very much the same season to you. Weren't bad, but just couldn't get wins over the line. Yeah, and a well-played 1-1 to both teams. Probably sums up where they're both at right now. We are going to go to Bushrats versus Wanganui. This is how the Bushrats go, like this. And they have been on a little bit of a resurgence. So they've won 4 out of the last 5 with just a 1-0 defeat against the 10-man Bushrats. Bunnabug Blitz. Wasted everybody's time. Yeah, you should have just shook hands at the kickoff and be done with it. Archie absolutely fuming with his 11 in his squad. Over to the Wanganui Wanderers, who did have some horrible pack luck at the start of the season, but have certainly kind of improved on that pack luck and have got some decent results over the line, although it is that consistency for Sav. Again, with a familiar kind of back rowers on the SCs, which has probably been more effective than we'd anticipated as we look towards this game tonight. Bushrats kick us off. Alan Smith having had 8 in 11. I know me and Scotty have both been touting them up, but that is probably more than most of us imagined. Ronaldo with a pot shot from the edge of the box, but puts it over the bar. Clive out with a bicycle kick, but again misses. Lawson on the volley just puts it over. Bushrats with a couple of chances back-to-back there. And Giannichella setting up Z Roberto. Totti with a tactical foul on Giggs. And again, we get to half-time with Bushrats, just the slightly better of the two teams, but not much in it there. Clive out with those 2 big chances, and Lawson with 1, not managing to get it on target. Over to Wanganui, 6s and 7s, just the 1-8 Gary Neville, who was very much a Sav hero. I never really rated him until he was good for Savage at Asta. He's been pretty solid there in that backline, playing 23 of the 25 games played so far this season. Tato speaking up and chatting up Ikbara Yakubu. See how he fares next year. And we'll see what Sav wants to do. Oh, and Sav is either very angry or he's accidentally put caps on. Moved Tot what? Moved Totty back to MC alongside Zidane. Sav, are you alright, mate? Am I sniffing glue there, lads? Move Totty back to MC alongside Zidane, but with the same arrow. I'm guessing Savage is wrestling. I'm guessing Savage is wrestling bedtime. So we'll just go as is. Sorry, Sav, mate. Big save from Canizares, who's been quietly good for Wanganui. Exteria rating Kloros and Bartes is in there for the save at 60. Lawson on a 6, despite that chance earlier on. Smith and Cliver on 7s. 8 from that midfield 3 of Milevski, Lee Young-Pyo and Aikbari Yakubu. Condition-wise, not that Tato believes in it, but looking okay. Over at Wanganui, 6s for those kind of midfielders and forward players. That 3 DMC line of Tato having all 8s just kind of sums up that they must have been struggling in exchange. I was very quick on his condition. Apologies, Sav. 84% Ronaldo, the lowest. Let's see what you want to do. I imagine Tato's going to do his long arrow. Yep, there we go. Extending the long arrows. Lawson off for Davy Collins. There we go. Makes total sense. We'll see what Sav wants to do. Imagine Sav might be having the same nightmare that he was less than 3 minutes ago. Move Ronaldo up to SC. Drop Donovan Mido back to MC with 4 arrows. Donovan for Osmanowski. yeah. It's not the squad, mate. It was the starting 11 that was the issue. But we've made the changes. Ronaldo with a double chance there. Doesn't quite put it in the back of the net. Mido. Wanganui coming from the 60-minute break with just a little bit more in the game. Smirting with a Ronaldo couldn't keep it down. Thought that was going to be goal of the season. And it is Lee Young-Pyo with his first game of the season, scores the goal, and then the game kicks on. And Wanganui were looking good value to maybe go ahead, but it's the Bush Rats that do sneak ahead, setting up that nice kind of Tato Daz tee-off in the last game of the season to see who finishes above us. And Tato's form has been very, very good over the last 6 or 7 games. Gary Neville, again, talked him up at halftime, does get the man of the match performance with 14 tackles, 1 from 16, with 8 being key. Next, we do go over to Hobart versus the Unicorns. And Horsey, if you're in the comments, let us know, mate. Smuts has sent text instructions, but your kind of presence in the chat does supersede those. So please do let us know if you're there, mate. That'll be grand. Excellent. Good to have you, mate. Over at the Unicorns, there's a couple of changes. Beckham into MR and Lasisi back in for Ayala at centre-half. Unicorns, who, with a win, being the first of the top 6 to play tonight, would be jumping up to 3rd, but the rest of them would have a game in hand. And obviously, Warriors and Vikings do play each other, which is pretty important within the context of that order of the top 6. So we kick off. Feels very red and white to start with. Hobart, of course, who got a win against the Warriors last game week yesterday. Stay stream. Cheers again for that, stay, mate. 32 minutes played. Tomati back into the starting 11, the league's best player, match ratings and stats wise. Offside position for someone there through for Hobart. And half time, and it felt very, very red and white heavy, but the actual match stats do not reflect that. Van Mol. Was that a Hobart player, was it? Or a Unicorns player? Duncan Van Mol. What's happened there? Oh, you must have played last game. You had me panicking that I'd done a rogue DML click there. But actually, it looks as though he was in the league last game. Sorry, in the lineup last game. Give me a fucking heart attack there, horsey. This isn't the team I picked. What do you mean? Bex in for a Gat and Ayala in for Lassisi, please. I've just got Bex in for a Gat and Ayala in for Lassisi. Smuts. Dan is a play on. Play on for Horsey as well. 50 minutes played. We get to 57 minutes. Yeah, I'll be honest, it is really fucking hard to keep up. I've got a message from Smuts. I've got Horsey saying he's here, which is absolutely the right thing. A manager to be live, and then Smuts lands live. It's just fucking take control of your own team. Would make life a hell of a lot easier. We go over to the match ratings. Paredes on an 8, Tomasi on a 9, and Kutusov struggling there on a 6. Percentage-wise, fitness and stamina. And then over to the unicorns, we've got Seedorf on a 5, Van Mol on a 6, and Pawe on an 8, Elefopoulos and Lassisi on an 8 and a 9. Dan does Kutusov for York. And we'll see what the unicorns want to do. Nothing from Horse. Roll to full time. Appreciate it, Horse, mate. Jacques and Davidov do score, but Davidov, it is ruled off for offside. And that is full time. Unicorns will finish 6th. Hobart just engine it in a pretty close game. Tomasi on a 10 with a man of the match performance. That is why he's the league's best player. 15 tackles completed from 18, with 2 of them key. Over to the unicorns, couple of 6s, couple of 5s, and the rest on 8s and 7s. All right, then let's have a look where we're going. Vanuatu, the game takes us nicely to Vanuatu against Rapa Nui. Steve, given that these are now massive games and there was an error with unicorns, if you can just give me the good go, that is okay. I'm just double checking to see if I fucked up there. I don't think I have. All good for Steve. And then Rob, just over to you, mate. Mexes comes in for his debut at sweeper. If you could just give us the okay that's all right for you, bud, that'd be grand. Excellent. And best of luck to both. Just in terms of, we've got a ghost game. Apologies, lads. Ghost game from absolutely nowhere. We go over to the Vikings against the Warriors, and this is a massive game. Now, I haven't seen Jens in the chat, so I am just gonna message Jens and let him know that he's on. We will jump over to the Vikings. That will do Scotty because Scotty's here. Scotty, you've submitted a new tactic file and just slightly different 11. So if you could just give us a nudge that that's all right. And confirm that. To be fair, I don't think you would have wanted to go first tonight, Bob, because you kind of want things to play out around you, I think. All good from Scotty. Excellent. And then Jens, if you're here, mate, if you can let us know. I'm just going to double check. Just going to double check. 1 second, lads, bear with me. It's an as is from Jens, so I will just kind of click through. Best of luck to both managers. Now, what would this do in terms of permutations? We know the Unicorns have been beat. We know Steve's a ghost game. So really, if the Warriors win, they could still finish top if Blitz were to beat Dragons and Dragons were to lose their last game and Warriors were to win their last game. Vikings with a win would go level with Blitz and would then need a better Blitz's result in game week 26 if the Blitz didn't get points against Dragons. Anyway, fuck it. Let's go. We kick off. Scotty would have been massively disappointed with that 2-1 defeat against Hobart last time out. And these are two. I think it's easy sometimes to take for granted just how fucking good these top 4, 5, 6 teams are. I think you could play this game through 100 times and it would probably come close to a, maybe 40% Vikings wins, 40% Warriors wins, and maybe 20% draws. I think they're that good. The quality in these teams is that good. Sigs with a red booking, with 3 shots and none of them on target. That's massive, that. Nothing condition-wise, and Jens hasn't submitted any instructions pre-kickoff, so we won't tamper too much. Over at the Warriors, Petit on a 5 in that lone DMC role. Nothing to worry about ratings-wise for Scotty other than Petit, and certainly nothing to worry about in terms of conditions or stamina-wise. But you probably think just being a little bit starved of the ball there, Donny, Nahilichik, Crespo, all of those kind of creative players that have been a little bit starved of the ball. Scotty does go to 60. We'll just give Jens a couple of seconds, given the size of the game. I have texted him and give him a nudge. But we will roll to 60. And it is Maxim. As long as the Vikings are in the playoffs and as long as they've got him up top, you'd be an absolute nutcase to write them off. Scotty, I'll just give you a look at your full team there, mate, and full stats and stuff. Just makes life a little bit easier on the one screen. Petit still on his 5. No bookings to worry about, though. But again, those attacking players have just been really starved of the ball by that 3 DMC line of the Vikings. Over at the Vikings, bookings for Keane, Terry and Maxim, same as halftime, but nothing condition-wise to worry about really. Olsen on 90%, the lowest super fit Vikings side, along with Nedved and Gattuso on 90% as well. Scotty does go Cabello for Crespo. And we haven't seen Jens, and I'm not going to force my hand to do anything on his behalf, given the significance of it. And he's 1-0 up, so we will go to full time. Kamuna goes into the book. Nahilichek just starting to get into the game a little bit now. And there is Furiseth Olsen, who probably does kill it for the Vikings. Donny into the book now. Scotty's gambled on this tactic change, and you can totally see why. He wanted the 2 wins. And there is John Terry. Scotty, if it's okay with you, mate, I'm going to go Furiseth Olsen for 2 door. And I'm going to stick them there. Can you just confirm you're happy with that board and let me know if you want to do anything in response? Leave both, and he's given us the go-ahead for both. Like the gent he is. Ronaldinho with a free kick, but it looked to go straight into the wall. Can the Warriors make the last couple of minutes a little bit nervous? No, they can't, and the Vikings do get a massive result for them, with Maxim providing one of the goals, and Olsen, who has been good since coming in. What would that be now? 2 goals in 3. And the Warriors unlucky there, just hitting a bit of a dip of form at the wrong time. Did gamble tonight, totally respected, but unfortunately didn't pay off. All right then, because of the ghost game, this is now the penultimate game of the night. Dims, I know you were busy with the kids and you couldn't make it on comms, mate, but if you can just let us know you're okay and you're here, that'd be grand. This is how the Blitz go. An absolutely formidable opponent tonight with everybody fully fit. What an incredible 11. Dimble builds and Dimble fields, as always. And yeah, excellent Dims. Good timing, mate. Over at the Dragons, they are missing Gerrard and Vieira tonight, which could be absolutely massive given how good that midfield combination has been, and also how good the midfield combination of the Blitz are. But Sand and Raquel may have deputised well so far, but it's their time to step up, and we will kick off rather. Kuhl puts the Blitz 1-0 up to start off proceedings. Looked to be a bit of a save from Buffon and a bit of a rebound. We'll see if the Dragons can get into it before half-time. Anelka couldn't direct the volley, but does put it over the bar. Can the Dragons do anything before the half-time whistle? Half-time comes, and it is that Harry Kuhl goal. Dragons not really offering much in front of goal there. And the Blitz are 1-0 up with really solid ratings, nothing below a 7, and the assist from the goal coming from Johan Vogel. Over at the Dragons, Stam on a 5, and the attacking players on a 6. So all the Dragons will do is just try and push on probably the 2 best players on the pitch, which is the wing backs, and we'll see how that goes. Back with a half a chance, 55 minutes played now. Henri puts it over. Former Blitzman, I believe, once upon a time. Oh, we jumped to 75 as the Dragons have a half a chance. We'll go Thierry Henry for Constantino. And we'll give Raquel May an arrow as well and just try and get back into things. Over at the Blitz, we'll just show you the full screen there, Dimble. And we'll see if the Dragons can get a goal. It's a roll from Dims. We'll stick it on fast because we like nothing more than self-torture. Vogel to Kuhl and Elka Rivaldo. Kuhl, good challenge from Stam. Bearing in mind he was on a 5 at half-time, so he needed to make that. Otherwise he'd been nailed on to get into the book. Jens Jeremies. It feels like it's been all Blitz, this. Carlos, Mendieta now. Dragons really struggling to get their feet on the ball. Remember that Blitz could finish top if Dragons were to lose to Bushrats and the Blitz were to win their last game of the season. Free kick for Dragons. Raquel May, what's he got in his logger? Vieri puts it well over. It was half a chance, but Stam and Mendieta were in close competition there. Raquel May back, and it's a goal kick. And Blitz are going to keep the game alive until game week 26, it looks like. Blitz with a corner. Buffon. And the league is going to go down to game week 26. Offside from Back, who is offside more than probably any other player other than Harasimovic. And Blitz do keep the league alive until game week 26 with a really solid ground out 1-0 win against the Dragons. First defeat in about 10 games for Dragons. Harry Kuhl with the goal and Vogel with the assist. Yeah, he is inevitable. Buffon with a man of the match performance, Stam on a 5. Dragons just didn't do enough in front of goal, and Sand and Riquelme just ultimately weren't enough of a foil instead of Vieira and Gerrard. So that's how it looks right now with Vanuatu ready to play. Essentially, if the Dragons match or better Blitz's result, then they'll finish top. If Blitz better Dragons' result, then they'll finish top. But Dragons and Blitz both guaranteed a top two spot, really, unless Vikings have some sort of mad, ridiculous goal turnaround. Over to Vanuatu. Vanuatu against Rapa Nui. We've seen the teams, so we will just crack on here. Last game of the evening, and we'll get it underway. Vanuatu with a goal, Nicky Ferenko. Steve has been on a bit of a wobble form-wise, so he'll be glad to just keep that momentum up going into playoffs. Half-time we get to. A gentlemanly good look from Steve. 5 shots, 4 on target from Vanuatu. On top, as you'd imagine, given the relative league positions of both managers. It's a roll from Rob, definitely in the bracket of kind of wanting to see it. Yeah, played Dims, mate. Great win, that, mate. Really, really great win. And we'll see. It's a roll from both. We'll get to 60 minutes. 55 minutes, and there is the second goal of the game. We jump from 55 to 67, and there is the third. Montella, Volodenko crosses were causing havoc, says the text. Unless there's yellow cards that Steve wants to protect going into game week 26. I cannot imagine him doing anything there. Rob, there's your full kind of dashboard with stats and stamina there, mate. Although I imagine, yeah, he's going to roll it. Steve, there's yours, bud. It does look as though he's kind of protecting the yellows. And we will get to full time to conclude game week 25 with a massive win from Vanuatu. Yeah, protecting the yellow makes total sense. It's an old goal for Smerton. Khan didn't move, and we'll see what happens there. And it is 5. Nicky Ferenko. Steve will be absolutely loving that going into the playoffs. What does that do league table wise? We'll have a look in a second. Nicky Ferenko with a brace, Montella with a goal and an assist, and just not very nice from Rob. So that does put, oh yeah, actually Dragons aren't guaranteed a top 2 spot. Let's have a little look here. Classifieds, Nuka versus Aborigines 0-3, Blitz against Dragons 1-0, Bushrats against Wanganui 1-0, Hobart against Unicorns 1-0, Townsville against Tutuvua 1-1, Vanuatu 5, Rapa Nui 0, Vikings 2, Warriors 0. So that brings us to this position then. Dragons are on 47 points, Blitz are on 46, Vanuatu are on 44, Vikings on 43, Warriors on 41, Unicorns on 39, and then the rest that follow there. So going into game week 26, we've got Nuka versus Vanuatu, Rapa Nui against Hobart, Dragons against Bushrats, Tutuvua against Blitz, Unicorns against Vikings, Warriors against Townsville, Wanganui against Aborigines. So essentially what this means is Dragons win, they're guaranteed top spot. Dragons get a point, they're guaranteed top 2. Same goes for Blitz given their superior goal difference. So either if Dragons and Blitz don't lose, that's the top 2. Beyond that, everything else is on. Unicorns can still finish as high as 5th. Warriors can still finish as high as 3rd. Vikings can still finish as high as 2nd. Although the goal difference would make things pretty impossible for them to overcome. I will get the save uploaded and the pack out straight away, boys. Appreciate your company on this Friday night. Up the fucking All-Stars.